Hey there guys, so as I said in my previous video, today we're going to be comparing the difference between Smite and League of Legends. Let's get started. So for starters, Smite is in third person versus League, which is overhead, which completely changes the game as it completely changes how you move and control your character. In addition to that, League of Legends has what's called summoner spells, the two spells that you have in the very beginning. Smite has what are called relics. You also get two, just like in League. However, you get one at level 1, and you can't get the second one until level 12. And these relics are purchased through the shop. They're free, but you have to go to the shop and get them. They're not like in League, how you start off with them in the very beginning. You also buy items just like in League. As you see, you can build them up. I started this game. This was a custom match with a bunch of gold. I think I put like 10,000 gold, so that's why I was able to buy all this at level 1. I also put my character at level 10, so you can see all the different moves. Just like League, you get 3 moves, a passive, and an ultimate. If you notice that little icon on top of Apollo's portraits near the bottom left, that's something that they implemented with almost all characters. What that does is that gives him kind of like a little, I guess you could say, icon feature to show you his passive. So in Smite, as you move and attack, it slows down your movement speed, as you can see there. So when you're moving regularly, you move at a certain speed. When you attack, it slows you down. This is just a little mechanic of the game, kind of like Dota's turning mechanic, I believe it is. They have different turn ratios on the characters. Another thing, Smite, everything is a skill shot, even auto attacks. As you saw as I was walking, you see the little circle mark in my screen there. Every single thing is a skill shot. What I'm showing you now is that unlike League, where you can build any character to be either AP or AD, in Smite, your character already has like a predisposed type, either physical or magical. You have items like the reinforced hammer, which can change your physical attack to deal magic damage, but just like League, you have basically magic resistance, attack resistance, physical resistance, and then you have your movement speed and your attack speed, and the very first icon, the little fist, that's how much damage you do per basic attack. It's kind of like AD and League, and the thing under it, icon under it, the two little swords, that is your power. If you were magic, it would be like a little star symbol, showing you like magical power. But because I'm a physical damage dealer, it's the two little swords. You cannot change that. So for example, on Apollo, it is impossible for me to build magic damage unless I get an item like Reinforced Hammer. Versus in League of Legends, you can literally build any character any way you want. As a matter of fact, AP Kog'Maw and AD Kog'Maw are something that are popular. You can build Kog'Maw either ways. Ezreal is another one that is popularly built either AP or AD, however you would like. Another thing to note is the CS mechanic in this game. In League, you have the last hit to get gold, which I'm going to show later. I have League footage as well. But in Smite, it's very different. In Smite, if you hit any of the minions, like even hit, and your minions are the ones that finish them off, you get a certain amount of gold. For example, right now I believe it's 12 for the range and 25, not 25, 17 for the melees. However, if you last hit them, it gives you a 50% increase. So for example, the range ones, if I hit them once and my minions finish them off, I only get 12 gold. But if I last hit them, I get 18 gold, which was shown earlier. For example, you saw that 17 gold I just got, that was from me not last hitting them. See the 25 I just got from the melee? That was because it was with the 50% increase. See, I just got 12 gold for those. That was because I did not last hit them. So it all depends on whether you last hit or not. So unlike in League, where if you do not last hit, you get no gold, and you're basically gonna be broke the whole game. Smite, it's not as big of a deal. It's still a big deal, obviously, because it's a 50% increase. So it does make a difference. But if you don't CS, it's not gonna be the end of the world. Now I'm going to show you the jungle. In Smite, there are two main bosses, just like in League of Legends. How League of Legends has Baron and Dragon. Well, we have Fire Giant and Gold Fury. Right there, I'm killing the little Fire Giant allies. There's like these little things that spawn. You can hit them and not get Giant aggro. That's fine. The Fire Giant doesn't like come out until 10 minutes into the game, kind of like how Baron doesn't come out until 20 minutes in late. Another thing to note, if you see where I'm pointing right now with my arrow at the minimap, unlike League, where let's just say on the left side of the map, if you have red buff on your side, the enemy team has blue buff on their side, on that exact same side of the map, the left side of the map in this case, because that could be on the other side, has the red buff, and the right side of the map has the blue buff. the mana buff and the attack buff. So it is by side. It's not alternating like in League, which I'm going to show you later as soon as I get to the League gameplay. Another thing that I want to comment on that I forgot is that when you're CSing in Smite, if the tower hits any of your minions, you will not get gold for that minion. In other words, any minion shot by a tower, even if you last hit it, will not give you gold. As you just saw, I picked up a buff. In Smite, you have to pick them up. It's not by who last hits the buff minion. And you can also only get one buff. So if you notice now, I have the blue buff, I have the mana buff. I just killed the attack one. You can't really see it because of the body, so give it a second. They're going to fade away. There it is. I'm going to try to pick it up. I can't. I can only have one buff, and you have to pick it up. After a while, it'll eventually go away. I actually don't know how long. Another thing, commenting on the warding, in Smite, you're only allowed 2 regular wards, like green wards in League. You're only allowed up to 2 at a time, versus in League you're allowed 3, and you're only allowed 1 sentry ward, which is the equivalent to a pink ward in Smite. In League, I'm sorry. The sentry ward in Smite is equivalent to the pink ward in League, is what I'm trying to say. The sentry ward reveals other wards, so I can play sentry wards, and it'll both provide me vision as well as show me other wards. Unlike League, however, the pink ward is not stealth, and the green ward is, and Smite they are both stealth. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you the League gameplay. I started off in the client to show you runes and masteries as well as the summoner spells, all 3 things that do not exist in Smite. Your runes, I have a gameplay footage of it later, like within the actual pages, as well as the masteries. The masteries work kind of like a skill tree, but what I'm showing you basically is that in League you have runes, masteries, and summoner spells that you all pick before the game. In Smite, the only thing that you're picking before the game is your god. Versus in League, you have to pick your champion as well as these other things. There is no skill tree or anything of that sort in Smite. It's basically fair play for everyone. The reason I say that is because in League, you can't really play to its fullest extent until level 30. I'm not knocking League in any way, just pointing that. The next thing that I'd like to point out is that in League, many champions can be played in many roles. For example, Kog'Maw can be played mid or AD carry, which is basically the equivalent to ADC, to mage or hunter. And Smite, Yasuo can be played top or mid. Many characters can be played in any role. The Ezreal that I have now can be played, as I mentioned before, either ability power or attack damage, and he can also be played either mid or bottom in terms of lanes. In Smite, I will show you later, most characters have types already, such as hunter, assassin, guardian, and the thing is you can't really differ from those types. Your AD carry is always going to be a hunter, your mid laner is always going to be a mage, your jungle should be an assassin. I guess you could defer there, but it should be an assassin. Your solo laner should be a warrior. I guess that's somewhere else that you technically could get away from. You could go with the double mage area, but basically what I'm trying to say is in Smite you don't have as much room for variability. Like you can't actually change where the champion goes for the most part, at least according to the meta and according to the way the game was designed. Now in League, as you can see, it shows you a few more of your stats, such as your lifesteal and things like that. It doesn't actually show you all that in Smite, even though lifesteal does exist in Smite. And as you can see, Ezreal has both a stat for ability power and attack damage, meaning I can build him however I want. If I buy Dorian's Blade, that makes my AD go up. I can buy something like the Amplifying Tomb, and that will make my AP go up. So it's up to my option. I can do a hybrid, I can do whatever I want. That in combination with the whole, you could play any character anywhere, that does give a bit more variability in League. Actually, a lot more. It's not a bit. It changes it a lot versus in Smite where everything is kind of set. Not necessarily, but it is. Also, another thing to mention, League does not have mana pots. They took that out of the game recently, actually, and they now have only health pots in the game, and then some other pots that do both. Also, League has something called a totem that you're allowed to take in the beginning. You have red, green, and blue totems. Not red, green, and blue, I'm sorry, yellow, red, and blue. And what the yellow totem does is the yellow basically puts down wards. They all level up at level 9 and give you an additional ability, but for the most part, the yellow totem gives you wards. The red totem is a sweeper that finds other wards, such as, the pink wards do. and the blue one is like a far off ward, like you can search far away. I just flashed by accident. That was one of my summoner spells, so I hope you saw that. And as you can see, the green ward in League is stealth, while the pink ward is not stealth. You can also tell that the pink ward has 5 health bars, while the green one has 3. So just something to point out in League that's a lot different in warding. Another thing, as you can see, since we're mentioning it is overhead instead of third person, you can scroll over the map. You can look all over the place. If I wanted to, I can look all the way in the enemy's base, just like that. However, it's covered by the fog of war. I don't have vision, but I can scroll the camera wherever I want. While movement in Smite is with the WASD keys and your mouse that you use to move around the camera, in League you use the clicker. You use your mouse. You click around like I'm doing now. And as you can see, auto attacks are locked on. I don't have to aim my auto attacks. I can just hit. And as you saw, I just hit that minion. I hit that one. I'm hitting all these minions, but I'm not last hitting them, which means I'm not getting any gold. I actually have to hit the minion last to get the gold. See, there, I missed it completely actually. There, missed it again. No gold. In Smite, I would have already gotten gold for all of those minions, but I'm not. See, that one, I last hit and I got gold. Now, you can tell by the little thing in the top right, that shows you your creep score or CS. That is very, very important. That's basically how you can determine who has more gold in League. That's another big thing. In Smite, they show you exactly how much gold the enemy team has, how much gold you have, and how much gold each individual player has. They don't actually, that's not like information that's out there for everyone in League. You kind of have to just be able to figure it out. I mean, you'll be able to tell who has more gold at the end of the day. The only thing League tells you is who has more dragons, towers, kills, and deaths. Like, that's it. What I want to point out in League is that the dragon in League used to give you gold. Now it gives you buffs. Every time you kill the dragon, it adds a stack to the dragon buff. So like stack 1, I believe it increases attack damage and ability power for everyone on your team. Stack 2, I believe it increases damage to structures. Stack 3 increases your movement speed. Stack 4, I honestly don't remember what it does. And I remember stack 5 basically like triples all the other buffs, and it adds an additional something something something. So Dragon is basically a huge buff now, especially if you get all 5. Baron is also a buff, and I will be showing you the Baron later. Both sides of the river have this little crab that I'm showing here that provide vision. It basically like goes into the ground as a ward, and you can walk over it and it'll give you speed. That's the Dragon in League right there. You can read the text there that it'll tell you what it says. If you look at the map, and I'll point it out later, you can tell that the jungles are exact opposites of each other. So for example, from where Ezreal is now to the bottom right of my screen, or the bottom right of my screen, that's where we have red buff, raptor camps, and golem camps. Now across from that, from the top right side of my screen, that area has exact opposite things. It has blue buff and the 2 other camps that I'll show later. That right there is called the Herald. It shows you there, everything there, the Rift Herald. And that's only around up until Baron spawns. That's another buff. That's something new that they implemented. But at 20 minutes, that goes away and Baron spawns. Now, if you notice that brush that I just walked through, I went invisible, or not invisible, but it gave me like that semi-transparent look. The reason for that is that in League we do have bushes, and those, or actually I think they're called brushes, but whatever, it's a bush. And basically what happens when you walk through those, you cannot be seen from outside of it. The enemy would have to walk in or have to have a ward inside the bush in order to see you. So that's a good like hiding spot. Like someone could be standing in that bush right now and I wouldn't be able to see them. If the bush wasn't there, however, I would, because it is in my range of vision. That is something that does not exist in Smite, and it's a really cool mechanic, and it even does things with certain champions' abilities, such as Nidalee. Nidalee moves faster when in bushes, and I think there's even a mastery for that. So yeah, the bush mechanic is a very, very cool and important mechanic in League of Legends. So now I'm actually going to go ahead and show you some of the jungle camps in League of Legends. As you see here, this is the raptor camp, what I was talking about. All the big minions, you see they have that one big raptor and the 3 small raptors in League. The big raptor, if smited, smite is one of the summoner spells in League that usually the jungler takes, they all give buffs. So for example, the Raptor would have give you a vision buff. It said it there when you highlighted it, and the red buff gives you health back when you smite it. You don't need to smite the red buff in order to get the actual buff, like the attack damage increase and that sort. You just have to be the last one to kill it. Right here we have golems. Golems, if you kill the big one with smite, you get I believe it's a stun every 4 attacks. You don't have to smite them to get the buff. For example, how I said the red one gives you health back, you can smite that at any time and that'll give you the buff for them. The only thing that you have to kill last to get the buff is the red and blue buffs. And as you see there, there's wolves. That gives you like a little spirit that pops up around there where I'm moving my mouse that sort of acts like a ward, and it even follows a character. There's the blue buff. Obviously the big one is the one that drops the buff, and again, it does not drop it like it's smite, it just gives it to the last person that killed it. That is the grump, and the grump adds damage to your abilities. It gives damage over time, it poisons them. The only other thing is the Rift Scuttler, which I showed earlier. It's a crab that, if you didn't hear earlier, it provides vision and a speed boost. So as you can see, the jungle is very different in League than in Smite. The only thing that gives a buff in Smite is the red and blue buff, and they're not even in the same location as in League. In League, they mirror each other. You see the Raptor there, the Raptor would be there. That's the red buff, and that's the golems. So the red buff and the golems would be here. It's like an exact opposite, like the other one's top left, so it would be bottom right for mine, instead of it being bottom left, how it is in Smite. Yeah, so everything in League provides a buff. Meanwhile, in Smite, the only thing that provide buff are red and blue. The harpies and the, I guess they're boars or hogs, whatever they are, they just provide experience and gold. So next, I'd like to point out in Smite, you have 2 towers, a phoenix, and the titan that you have to kill. In League, as you see, we have right there, that's the, I guess you could say the equivalent to our phoenix, or phoenix and smite is the inhibitor. As you see, the nexus is what you need to kill to win, that blue thing right there, and it's defended by 2 towers. I just showed the one on the enemy team. So in League, the way the lanes are set up are 3 towers, an inhibitor, and then the 2 towers that defend the nexus. You have to kill the nexus to win. So there's a few more sets of defense in League than in Smite, because Smite only has 2 towers, the phoenix and the titan. However, in Smite, the phoenix and the titan fight back. The phoenix is basically the equivalent to an inhibitor in League, because the inhibitors in League respawn just like the phoenix after some time. The only difference is the phoenix deals damage, meanwhile our inhibitor does not, as well as if you destroy the enemy team's inhibitor slash phoenix for either game, it gives your minions a buff. You start getting stronger minions. So the only difference with the inhibitor and phoenix within the games is that the inhibitor in League is defended by a tower, and it has, you know, completely different health bars. You have to kill that tower and then kill the inhibitor. And in Smite, the phoenix itself deals damage back, and there's no tower in front of it. The phoenix is by itself, it technically is a tower that just gives you a minion buff. And in League, you have the nexus, which is defended by 2 nexus towers, and each nexus tower has separate health as well as the nexus itself. Yeah, in Smite, which you have to kill to win, is called a titan, and the titan has its own health bar, and it also deals its own damage back, like it attacks players. Also, as you notice here, I took out the tower. That tower is gone for the entire game. Just like in Smite, that tower will not regenerate, it will not come back. The only things that come back in either game are the inhibitor and the phoenix, except in League, the tower that defends the inhibitor can regenerate. It will not come back. If you kill the tower, that's it. It's gone for the entire game. But the third tower, the last tower in the lane, if you damage it, if you get it to, let's just say, 1 health, and you leave it there, eventually, over time, it will regenerate back to full health. However, if you kill it, it cannot regenerate. So, another different aspect with the towers in addition to the numbers. I just decided to go ahead and fast forward here because the last thing to show you within the actual gameplay of League would be the Baron. I showed you Dragon, and I'm gonna show you Gold Fury and Fire Giant and Smite. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you Baron now. I'm also gonna go ahead and attack it just to show you how strong it is, as well as the Fire Giant and Smite, which you'll see. And you can go ahead and see the animation. You see he comes out of the wall there. It's a really cool sound too. For some reason I wasn't able to record any sounds in either game, but there you go. That's the Baron. You can go ahead and highlight it. It tells you things. I am going to go ahead and attack it now just so you can see how strong it is, and you basically need your whole team, and you also need to be very strong. and you have to have vision because if the other team can easily come and take it or just wipe you guys all out because of how low you're gonna get. So as soon as I die, also, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the death recap right here. Yeah, so you can see all the damage that Baron actually does. Next, I decided I'm going to go ahead and show you the Smite client first so that we can then compare it to the League client so you can see. Now, Smite has a lot of things in terms of its client that League doesn't. There you go. There's the party button. Then there's the friend button, you know, exactly the same as League. What it doesn't have is Quest. Quest is something that Smite have that League doesn't. As you can see there, you have Favor and Gems. Now, Favor is the free currency, and Smite is the equivalent to IP, and Gems is the equivalent to RP. But as you can see there, just by doing that quest, I can get gems for free, even though you have to purchase gems with real money. There's tons of ways to get gems for free. As a matter of fact, the 200 gems that I have, I did not purchase. I got that for free. I'm not exactly sure how. So quest is, you know, one of the things that Smite has that League doesn't, and they give you those weekly. This tab here is just for notifications and things like that. It's honestly, it's whatever. It's just to let you know things so you can go back and keep track. You can clear it out later. Mastery level is the total level of the mastered champions you have, which I will show you later. Now, there's also a lot of aesthetics. You have the avatar, which you also have in League that you could purchase. They have a bunch. They have flags, everything. A bunch of them are retired. They have a lot of really cool ones that are retired. For example, there's a really cool one that it's an owl and it moves. You know, it's kind of like a GIF. But I just have a lotus because that's all I could get. So you see there, you know, you can unlock it. Those are the retro ones. It tells you exactly how much it is. Because it is an aesthetic, it's usually with gems. However, there are some aesthetics such as these, as well as skins that you can purchase with the in-game currency, which is Favor. You see here are the ward skins. Again, this is not all of them. There are a bunch that are retired. Announcer pack. You know how in the game it says an enemy has been slain or things like that. Your tower has been destroyed. You can actually change the voice of the announcer saying those things. So that's pretty cool. Loading frame, I mean, that says it in its name. It's the frame around you and your god or champion during loading. Pedestals. Pedestals is actually really cool. I'm going to show you that during god selection, but it's something that League doesn't have that you can change as well. Global emotes. Yeah, you actually have to purchase emotes inside Smite versus League. They're free. You know, if you press Control 1, Control 2, you do one. In Smite, no, emotes you have to pay for, and there aren't that many. The boosters, it tells you there exactly what it does, so I'm not going to really tell you. You can just go ahead and pause and read that. If you see here, you have your profile. It's a bit more than in League. It shows you all your stats. It gives you a bunch of accolades and achievements. Just like in League, you can see your history as well. There are all the achievements. You can go ahead and look through them. Kind of gives it like a Call of Duty feel. It's pretty cool, like the whole, but then again, it is more PvP based than League, but it has the whole PvP scenario to it, you know, all the achievements and things like that that you can unlock. Just like I said, just like there, the history, as well as the mastery. Now, what mastery is basically how much you've played the god. As you can see there, I have very few gods mastered, which is why I started teaching me how to smite. It's one of the things that you actually need in order to play ranked. You have to have at least 18 gods at mastery level 1 and own the god. I own all gods because I purchased the ultimate god pack, and I'll explain that later once we get to the store. But as you can see, you gain worship basically by playing the god, and that gives you higher mastery levels. So here are all the gods. Obviously every god is based off an actual god in mythology. They fit into 5 categories, which are assassin, mage, guardian, hunter, and I'm forgetting one. Assassin, mage, guardian, hunter. Can't remember the other one. Oh well. Those are basically their roles, and as you can see, they all have skins as well as the mastery skins. You see the diamond one, that's for mastery level 5. The golden one, that's with blue, is for mastery level 1, and the gold and black one is for mastery level 5. It also shows you in the stats page exactly what the champions, or I'm sorry, gods base stats are, and you can even type in the level to see what they are later on in the game. You can also buy the god's voice pack so that instead of the regular voices in the game, it would be the god himself or herself talking. So there you go. You can see Geb. He's another god. You see they even have different voices for different skins. Like that's his standard voice. I was trying to play it, but you can't really record the video. But his standard voice is like, you know, kind of like a Malphite voice. And then there he has like an electronic voice because, I mean, he's a robot. So by purchasing the voice pack, though, you buy the voice for all his skins. So you don't have to re-buy it just for a different skin. It's for each and every single one. I'm still mad that I can't remember what the 5th type of god is, oh, warrior. There we go. It's warrior, assassin, mage, guardian, and hunter. So yeah, there you go. You can also purchase all these things like I'm showing you. You have chests, which basically when you buy the chest, you have a chance of unlocking different skins. Just like in the regular shop, you have gods and skins that you can buy in League. Here we have the chest. You have bundles, just like in League. There we have team bundles. You get the team ward skin, some fantasy points, and a team skin like for one of the for that specific god. This right here is a season ticket. I'll explain that in a second. So there are the bundles. The Ultimate God Pack can be found in that bundle, which for $30 at the time that I bought it was $15. It was on sale. You can get every single god currently released, as well as the future ones. For your account, there you go. You can change the name for 400 gems, a lot cheaper than League. You can buy boosters and you can buy little avatars. Redeem, that's where you would redeem money or codes. Social, Smite has a thing called a clan, which League does not. And basically the whole point of it is you play, you get clan points, and you can buy these little chests, which give you things. They cost a lot because you don't get that much honor per game. And it's the whole social concept right there, all the details. You can go ahead and read that. I'm not gonna read everything and explain it. Basically, you get points per game, and it's a whole little social thing. Right there, all the rank things. You see, you can go ahead and click on the divisions. It works a lot like League. It's bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and then grandmaster. Grandmaster being the equivalent to challenger. I can't play ranked yet because I'm too low level. And there are different forms of ranked in Smite. You know, as you can see there, there's conquest, which is the main one. It's like the professional game mode. Badges, I'm not sure what it is. I showed you that. It was blank for me, but that's because I haven't played ranked. I'm assuming that's like some form of rewards that you get for playing. Wisdom, it wasn't working when I recorded this. However, Wisdom is basically a really cool thing that they put inside their client, which basically it's a bunch of videos made to show you, you know, tutorials and things like that nature. You get daily login bonuses as well as level up bonuses, which is a pretty big deal because you get free rewards for playing all the time, even gems, as you can see. So if you play a lot, you'll get free gems every single day. Now that right there, the season ticket, long story short, it's basically a built-in fantasy league. The way League has fantasy league, it's built into the game and you get rewards for it, as I showed. Smite also have several different game modes, as you can see there. I don't really want to go over each one, but they also have one that changes every day, like this right here, change place, which basically you choose the god for your opponents. Conquest is the main map, as you see there, like the one like League, Summoner's Rift, I guess you could call it. Arena is basically an all-out deathmatch. Joust, as you can see there, one lane, 3v3, you get a little side bush. Conquest, like I said, it's the main one. Clash is a two-laned thing. It has all the descriptions right there. Assault is basically ARAM. That's the Siege. Siege is like a special game mode. It's really weird. It has siege minions and things like that. For each mode, however, it does have a video that you can watch that will go in depth and show you. As you see there, you can do co-op, which is against bots. You can do ranked, obviously. You have normals. Then you have customs, which is what I filmed mine in. And then you have tutorials, which show you how to play the game. A really cool thing, at least something that I really like, is under ranked, they do have duel, which is basically 1v1. So you know all the trash talkers like, oh, 1v1 me bro, whatever. They actually have a ranked thing for that. And I just think that's really cool that they have a 1v1 ranked map. So they have different ranked options, and I don't know, I just really like that 1v1 feature. I feel like League should implement that. They don't even have a 1v1 map, but I mean, they did have the whole, you know, the fire chamber, lava chamber thing that they were gonna do, but they didn't. So right here is a champion select. As you can see, you can click your god, whatever it goes in. You have the lock-in feature. The thing Apollo is standing on, and the four other things in the background, that's the pedestal. You can actually customize that. I've seen one that it's a pool. I've seen another one that is like a disco table type thing. So that's a really cool thing. I like it. Notice in the loading frame, it does show you your mastery level as well as your opponents if he or she were to have one. So you see I have mastery level 1 on Apollo. Actually, Apollo so far is my favorite character, which is why I have the Apollo mastery level 1 skin. I'm going to go ahead and now skip forward to the Fire Giant. So before we get to the Fire Giant, where I'm heading over to right now is actually the Gold Fury, which like I said is the equivalent to Dragon. It does not give a buff, it gives gold, but that's basically what Dragon was designed for at first before they redesigned it. So we're just gonna go ahead and say that Gold Fury is the, you know, the equivalent to Dragon in League. Now we're gonna go ahead and run over to the Fire Giant. As you can see, they're labeled on the side so you don't get lost, like which way is Fire Giant, which way is this camp. And this guy right here, well, those are the fire giant allies. You see that big guy in the back? That's the fire giant. You can kill the allies, as you can see, and they will not attract fire giant aggro. So it's a cute little camp if you have nothing else to go ahead and farm. I'm gonna go ahead and attack the fire giant, so you can see it's basically equally as strong as Baron, and it is a team objective. I mean, you see, I'm backing away. That's it. I already drew aggro off. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go in and let him kill me, and then I'll also show you the death recap, so you can see how much damage he does. I mean, look at this. I guess technically I could have dodged that, but regardless, it wouldn't have mattered. And there I am. So that's basically all the differences between League and Smite. I know it's been a really lengthy video. I've tried to show you everything from in the gameplay to in the client to how CSing works and the warding and everything that's different, the gods, the champions. So I hope you like this video, and that's about it. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and like this video for more. If you'd like to stay up to date, all the links to my social medias are down below. I have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. I'll be live streaming on Twitch, so go ahead and look out for that. It means a lot. Thank you.